You guys shouldn't have to wait too much longer, though, here. We are going to start it up. And I'm just going to figure out how high I want this music to be. I think this is good. Yeah, a little bit lower. All right, this sounds good to me. How is everybody doing today? Wanted to stream with some Kikki Chord action, and here is the main deck that we are looking at. Same main deck that I was streaming with the other day. One additional Kitchen Finks over the Fiery Justice, otherwise the stock main deck. And I believe I'm changing the sideboard a little bit here. I think I'm cutting one Kitchen Finks from the sideboard for an Eidolon of Rhetoric over what I played the other day. When was that? Monday. Over the list that I played on Monday. Eidolon of Rhetoric is a super important card, I think, to have in the sideboard. And just playing one, like we've brought up with so many other cards, just playing one means that you're actually playing at least 7 because of the Chord of Callings and Eldritch Evolutions. And this card is just so powerful when it's good that I definitely want access to it. I cut the Kitchen Finks because we are playing the 2 main deck, and then we still have the Path to Exiles and the Warships for matchups like that. And like Obstinate Baloth and Scavenging Ooze can still gain you life while being a little bit versatile. Kitchen Finks is a versatile card in itself, though, too, so it's not without its own upsides. And which version am I playing here? I've got a bunch of different names because of the... Okay, so this is Kikki Chord 2. All right, well, that's not confusing, but sounds good to me. Let's jump in a Modern League here. And I think we have till whenever to finish this. I don't think that this league ends today. I think it ends in like a month or something. Alrighty, and we are into match 1 just like that. I'm really liking this deck. It seems really powerful in a lot of different matchups here, and this hand seems sweet. Obviously, there is a lot of mana in this hand, and Eternal Witness is just returning a fetch land here, because the deck doesn't play Path to Exiles or anything. And our opponent is mulliganed to 6 and kept. 6 on the draw, though, not a huge deal, and they went top for their scry. So we're going to be dealing with a reasonably good hand from our opponent here. Mulliganing to 6. Ooh, playing against elves. Neat. Okay. So we just have to not die early. Our sideboard cards aren't as good as they could be, meaning we don't have access to... I'm forgetting the name of it now. We don't have access to Orzhov Pontiff, or is it Staticaster, but we do still have Cunning Spark Mage, and then, of course, Linvala. We can also just win this game if we are able to Inferno Titan our opponent, but Blood Moons are going to be really bad. Fiery Justice is also going to be really good. So we've got a lot of pretty decent cards here. Don't really have to worry about Blood Moon. I think I am just going to run out this Eternal Witness, though, just because they're not likely to put other cards into our graveyard here. So, yeah, this is as good as this card is going to get. And that way we start adding to our count for Chord of Calling here. Now, we do have to worry about very aggressive draws from our opponent. Like, okay, it looks like they've got a Dwynen's Elite that they're going to play here. Oh no, they get to play Dwynen's Elite and then do another thing because that'll make a token and then allow them to play something else here. So, Dwynen's Elite, and then they can tap all 3 of these elves. Oops. All 3 of these elves to play something else. The biggest card I think I'm worried about is Devoted Druid, but yeah, figured Elvish Archdruid would be a reasonable call for my opponent too. So what happens if I slam another Eternal Witness here? Is that even good? I'm just going to swing for 2. I don't really want to block. I don't even think my opponent's going to attack just yet. But we just need to put things on the board so that way we are contributing towards our Convoke. Next turn we'll be able to Chord of Calling for what? This turn we could have Chord of Calling for 2, but that wouldn't have done anything for us. Yeah, let's just play Eternal Witness here. Return another land. So this turn, or rather next turn, we get to cast Chord of Calling for X equals 4. We get a Huntmaster, which isn't that impressive. We can probably just get Restoration Angel, hope to not die, and then hope to kill our opponent on the following turn. So nothing too super impressive this game. Well, I cannot run Gaia's Cradle, because Gaia's Cradle is not modern legal, but if you're talking about the new Gaia's Cradle that's going to be printed in the new set... Oh, sorry, I turned off OBS chat for recording for YouTube. Yeah, if you're talking about the new Gaia's Cradle, that could be a potential. I don't think that's as good in this deck, though. I would much rather play Helix Pinnacle if I was running some type of infinite mana combo. As is, this isn't really a deck that can make use of Helix Pinnacle that well. Like, it's not super... You don't want to naturally just try to build towards your Helix Pinnacle. If you're going to play Helix Pinnacle, you definitely want to play Devoted Druid Vizier of Remedies combo. It could be, yeah, it could be a meme. I mean, I could see a Helix Pinnacle in a Devoted Druid deck. The main reason that you don't is Helix Pinnacle, you also can't tutor for it. So you're either going to play 4 and then just have a really bad deck, or you're going to play 1, but it's not like a tutor. Like, Duskwatch Recruiter and Walking Ballista are just infinitely better because they are mana sinks that you can Coco and Chord of Calling and Evolution for. But yeah, there's mana sink creatures that already win you the game. Ronus as well. All right, taking a bunch of damage here from 2 Shaman of the Pax. Is that lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that is lethal. They're both going to hit me for 10. And we will move into the sideboard. That was a pretty good one for the Elves deck there. We do want Path to Exile. We do want Linvala. And we do want Cunning Spark Mage. Eidolon of Rhetoric is also fine. Oh, Aven Mind Sensor. That's a good one too. Revelark's a little bit slow. Huntmaster's fine because it can flip and kill something. Oh, my bad. Alright, let me look at the levels. How does that look? How does that sound, rather, for music-wise? Let me know. I can turn it down even more. Or I can turn myself up if I sound low as well. But thank you for letting me know. I do appreciate that. I have to look up, does Shaman of the Pack deal damage or make you lose life? No, it makes you lose life, so we don't want Worship. Alright, I will drop it a little bit more here then. Alright, let me know. Can still lower it, of course. And yeah, when we cut all those Blood Moons, we actually have a lot more slots that we can play. I think I do like Revelark because we do have some creatures that are just so good. I like Tireless Tracker too. I'm not actually crazy about Scavenging Ooze or Selfless Spirit. Sounds good. Sounds good. I also don't think Avalanche Riders is super needed here either. Yeah, I'm going to try out Eidolon of Rhetoric. I think it might be good. I don't think that there's any Reclamation Sage targets that we're going to need because my opponent can't really play Grafdigger's Cage themselves. So this is a fine deck we could play, but I don't think we need Selfless Spirit. It does fly, but it really doesn't do that much. So yeah, it's really just, do we want Reclamation Sage and Selfless Spirit? And I don't really care if my opponent tries to, like, Rest in Peace us or something like that. I think Scavenging Ooze is actually going to be the most relevant card, just so that if they're playing Eternal Witness, we can eat those. And I don't think any of our other sideboard cards are actually particularly likely to be relevant. Yeah, this seems good to me. Am I able to be heard, or does it sound good? Because I messed with all my audio settings when... Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate. Alright, I'm going to keep this. I messed with all my audio settings when I was recording a Versus series with my buddy Ixidor's Dreams for YouTube. Cool. I think I might have just messed it up again right after you said that, but should be good. Alright, just keeping a hand here with a bunch of mana sources, and this way I will be able to Evolution for a Spark Mage if we find that, or Chord of Calling for a Linvala pretty quickly here too. So next turn I can cast Chord of Calling for X equals 2, get Scavenging Ooze. Turn after that, hopefully Linvala, if I can draw any creature on my next turn here. Alright, Heritage Druid plus another card. They're going to smack for 2 first because that is completely free. Alright, so if they have another 1-drop creature like a Llanowar Elves... Okay, they don't. But I also just have the opportunity to Fiery Justice here. At the same time... Birds doesn't attack. Birds does not attack if you don't have Exalted. It is a 0/1 creature. I am going to wait and just try to get a little bit more value out of this Fiery Justice here. It's a little bit greedy, but we're not super likely to get that punished. If my opponent plays a Lord here, yeah, Nettle Sentinel maybe is a card that could punish us actually, though. I think they're going to play a Lord here now. But we're still going to be able to get more value with this Fiery Justice than we would have otherwise been able to get. So it looks like they are going to cast a Chord in response. Wait, did I bring in Aven Mind Sensor? Okay, I did. I got scared for a second that I forgot to bring in Aven Mind Sensor. I'm going to crack this now. And now I have to be a little bit scared because obviously my opponent wants to... they want to Coco in response to whatever I do here. So... I could play around that by just going 2 damage on this, 3 damage on this. I think I can just hope that they don't hit. Yeah, this is a little bit loose now. Definitely a little bit loose. Alright, let's play our Windswept Heath, and let's just see what happens. Might lose the game here due to our greed, but if they don't hit one of their lords, then we do get to blow up their whole board here. They could also have a Chord for a Selfless Spirit, which I'm not super worried about. No, all those cards go to the graveyard. Wow. Wow, I was not expecting that one. Okay, well, my opponent is at 25. Again, I don't really care about their life total. I am just going to now slow combo them. As I've brought up before, Chord of Calling can go the full distance. It is the only combo piece that you need. So basically, end of turn, I'm going to Chord of Calling for Eternal Witness, going to untap Chord of Calling for Kikki, Jiki, or Restoration Angel, blinking or making a copy of Eternal Witness, and then we'll return the Chord and get ready to do the same thing again. So let's get Stomping Grounds tapped and a basic Forest. Hopefully we can dodge Aven Mind Sensor here. I think we can, though. Alright, Eternal Witness, return Chord of Calling. And now we can chord for Kikki or Restoration Angel. Wall of Roots is free to cast here as well. I'm going to attack with Eternal... Actually, there's no reason to attack with it here. Yeah, no reason to attack for 2. My opponent's representing Collected Company here. They don't have it still. Okay. Well, they just have a whole bunch of nothing then. They got super flooded. That is awkward. I will wait till their end of turn here. Alright, and let's go ahead and get ourselves a Restoration Angel. Restoration Angel will blink Eternal Witness. Then Eternal Witness will return Chord of Calling, and I will crack this Arid Mesa. Alright, and that'll draw a concession. Yeah, they just had Shaman of the Pax and lands. That was a super unlucky hand there. And I don't think we're going to change anything. We do have Aven Mind Sensor. Eidolon I don't think is going to be that relevant. Maybe Obstinate Baloth could even be better in some worlds. Worship does mean that they have to find a Shaman of the Pack, but that's not particularly difficult. It might still be worth doing, though. Like, it could just be better than this random Eidolon here. That Eidolon really is not doing that much for us. And then a Magus of the Moon could potentially cut them off black mana, but I don't think that's the way I want to play either. Yeah, I think I'm just going to bring in one Worship and hope to draw some more Fiery Justice and Cunning Spark Mage action. So there's Cunning Spark Mage, but there's also no green mana in this hand. Is it worth putting Koth in the sideboard of Scapeshift? I do like having one way in Scapeshift to win the game when you get, like, Slaughter Games or Blood Mooned or something. I tend to lean on Inferno Titan if that's what I'm going to do myself. We're also going to join our opponent in mulliganing this hand, and we're going to keep this one our opponent has kept as well. Yeah, so I don't love Koth, mainly because that deck can afford to play so many other more powerful cards in it that I just don't think it's necessary. I'm going to put this on the bottom and hope to hit a Mana Dude. This hand doesn't really need a Mana Dude. It's got Voice of Resurgence and Eldritch Evolution, which means we can go and get ourselves a Linvala, which is going to stop a lot of what my opponent can do anyways. So it shouldn't really matter. Definitely want to do turn 2 Voice of Resurgence. So let's just play Arid Mesa and go and get Stomping Grounds at the end of their turn here. Alright, Palace revealing Shaman of the Pack. And are they going to Shaman us? It looks like they are. Shaman for 2 on turn 2 here. Well, that's definitely a draw I like to see. I'm going to go and grab a Stomping Grounds, like I said. And we're going to take a little bit more damage even so as we play Voice of Resurgence. But... And I also don't really want to block Shaman of the Pack, but I'm not totally convinced my opponent's going to attack unless they also have a Lord. But if they had a Lord, they would have played it for sure before Shaman of the Pack. It would have helped their mana and all that, so... Not worried about a Lord draw either. Oh, I do have to... That was really dumb. I need white mana. Oh, I just took way more damage than I needed to here, considering my opponent is on a Shaman of the Pack heavy draw. Oh, that was silly. Alrighty, well, hopefully they Shaman us a few times early game, and then I play a Warship, and then we don't have to worry about the Shamans. Funny enough, Horizon Canopy can kill us when we have Warship in play. Alright, here we go. Heritage Druid, and now they're going to start playing some cards here. Not quite yet. Alright, looks like they're going to dump their hand into a Coco, get 2 more Elves, untap Nettle Sentinel, and be able to keep comboing here. It's a little bit unfortunate. Our Linvala is a little bit slow. We take another Shaman of the Pack hit. But I think if I can not die this next turn, which I might just die this next turn because I played the wrong fetch land there. It's super embarrassing. So Crack, Windswept Heath, play a Tireless Tracker, or Eldritch Evolution, our Voice of Resurgence, into Huntmaster. That's slightly more likely to help us survive here. But it means that we can only block with one of our creatures. So we actually gain 1 life by being able to block with 2 creatures. Alright, I'm just going to play a creature. Alright, so all we have to do is survive with 2 life on our turn, and then dodge Shaman of the Pack for a few turns here. But we're planning on blocking both of these Shamans, taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going down to 1. So we're dead if my opponent just attacks us. Alright, that's 1 less attacker. But Cocos are also pretty bad, because if they find Shamans of the Pack or Lords, well, that's also going to be pretty bad for us here. So this is part of the strength of Elves. They are just an aggressive deck. All right, those are good draws for us. Those are draws that decidedly don't kill us. Now we block Shaman, Shaman, take 5, go to 2, and then play Horizon Canopy, go to 1, cast Warship, and then my opponent needs to find another Shaman of the Pack or Path to Exile to kill us. Or a Reclamation Sage or Qasali Pride Mage as well. Here comes Collected Company. Oh, no. It's a, right. It's an activation of Azuri. Okay. This is probably more damage than that then. Yeah, this tramples over for 4. This tramples over for 4. This hits me for 5, so we take lethal here. Unfortunate. If we had 2 more life points, though, that would not have helped us, because we are going down to... what is this? -6 here anyways, so 2 more life points wouldn't have helped us really that much. GG's Frederick Hemingway. Oh, Hemmingson. He's just got to press the button, and that'll let him win the match. All right. Not a great start here, then, for the Kikki Chord deck. I do think that that is a reasonably good matchup. It hurts a little bit that I cut one of the Fiery Justice for that matchup in particular, but in general, I think that we still have enough big sideboard cards. We didn't really have that great of hands. We also kept slightly loose hands. I liked our mulliganed hands, but our non-mulligan hands, maybe we needed to find some things that were a little bit more aggressive. Though I think game 1 we had a non-aggressive hand and still were able to win. Or no, that was game 2 that we won. Alright, so for this game we can hope that Blood Moon is good against an opponent who is on the play, mulligan to 6. That sounds pretty likely. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this one. We do need to draw another land or bird or noble or something. It looks like we're playing against a red deck. So Voice of Resurgence is the plan then. But Blood Moon actually is still surprisingly effective against red deck wins, believe it or not, here. So this will be a... this will fetch a Temple Garden, I imagine. because we want to be able to play Voice of Resurgence turn 2 to block this Goblin Guide here. Turn off auto yields. We also get to see what we're going to draw with Goblin Guide, and then we can shuffle it away or keep it. It's a Kitchen Finks, which unfortunately I do think I want to shuffle away. We can think about that, though. So next turn I can just crack both Wooded Foothills for Wall of Roots and then plan on playing Kitchen Finks the following turn. Some life gain is good. Oh, interesting. It is Mardu Burn. Cool. Alright, we're definitely going to want Temple Guard in here. And I think that's all we want to do. Oh, Scavenging Ooze is also a really solid one. Yeah, basically I think we have to not worry about our Haymakers here, Fiery Justice and Blood Moon. They're both going to be really good, but I need to not take damage out of my fetch lands, and Blood Moon's going to be bad. My opponent also did mulligan on the play as a burn deck. That's pretty important to note. Okay. Yeah, let's just go ahead, play it safe here, not do anything too crazy. Let's just go Forest, Voice of Resurgence, just make the best play for the current turn. Sometimes that's all you can afford to do against burn. Don't worry about 3 turns from now, just make the best turn for right now. Oh, that's what they did. They suspended a Rift Bolt. I did not notice that. And we'll see. Is that going to clear Voice of Resurgence? Nope. Voice of Resurgence is going to be able to block Goblin Guide here. Or it could block Monastery Swift Spear. What do we think? I mean, my opponent has used all of their mana each turn. We drew a Plains. That's pretty sweet, too. That means we get to Scavenging Ooze and eat regardless here. I like that. Or I could just play Wall of Roots or Eternal Witness, Returning Voice. All of those seem sweet. So Goblin Guide deals the most damage to us this turn, theoretically. Monastery Swift Spear, that could be a small blowout. I'm going to block here and make them have something. That will also help to protect my Scavenging Ooze, which is why I like it. So yeah, they're going to bolt my face, which is now going to put me to 3, 2... Yeah, it's going to put me down to 3. But now I get to play this Scavenging Ooze, gain some life, and potentially have a good setup for the rest of their cards here. So let's go ahead and make Scavenging Ooze into a 3/3. They can still very easily beat this here. Pretty much every live card in their deck is good, and they didn't play a land last turn. So almost everything in their deck is a good draw other than lands and other stuff. The fact that they didn't attack, though, means that they don't have anything. So that is great for us to see. Now I can Fiery Justice clear off 2 of their creatures, which will allow me to eat them with Scavenging Ooze. Part of the problem with that, though, is it would mean taking damage with Stomping Grounds. I also, though, really like cutting them off of mana by playing the Blood Moon. It's going to turn off a lot of the draws in their deck. So I think what we're going to do here is take 2 damage for the Wall of Roots. It's still going to leave us with 3 blockers, and it means if they draw a Boros Charm or something like that next turn, or a Bump in the Night, they're not going to be able to cast it. The other question you do have to ask yourself is, what could my opponent have in hand that they chose not to cast? I am going to hope that it is just another land, and they didn't play it because they are playing like Skullcrack and stuff in their deck. But I am going to just favor getting Blood Moon into play as soon as possible here. I guess my other option is I could Chord for Kitchen Finks. Maybe that's a little bit safer for a 1-turn cycle, but the problem is that doesn't make my battlefield any better here. Like, I could Chord for Kitchen Finks, and then next turn I'm still left with this Stomping Ground that I don't want to cast here. But is that safer, or is Blood Moon safer? I'm just going to hope that my last card in my opponent's hand, because what could they have that wouldn't kill us? Last turn, if they had any spell that hit us for 2 damage, they could have attacked with all 3 of their creatures, burned us, and put us in a spot where they had lethal. So I'm going to assume that their last card in hand is also a land. That's the only card I can think of that makes sense to me. And I'm going to pay 2 life so that we can try to Blood Moon my opponent out of the game. I do have to tap Wall of Roots first, or activate Wall of Roots first, rather. It's the only thing I can think of. They either have a land or they have a creature that doesn't work. Now if they draw Boros Charm, it isn't lethal. Sure, if they draw Lightning Bolt, now it's lethal. But we're not dead to a creature. We can take 1, and now we will start Fiery Justicing and then activating Scavenging Ooze and stuff. That seems good to me here. We've got Huntmaster and Kitchen Finks both in the deck, but we also have Scavenging Ooze that can gain us 2 life this turn. Yeah, I think they've got nothing here, so let's go bam, bam, bam. Let's clear off some of their creatures. And now I'm just going to immediately eat with Scavenging Ooze here. Let's not waste any time. And I do have a 3/3 elemental token. I think we've won the game at this point. I'm going to go ahead and attack with just Scavenging Ooze. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to attack with just Scavenging Ooze. It's the biggest creature, and I think this is still pretty safe. And then next turn, we will start the Chord of Calling action. I'm also going to put a stop on my opponent's upkeep now, and immediately eat this Monastery Swift Spear that they just chump blocked with. Oh, I stopped on my own upkeep by accident. Alright, Riftbolt entered the Exile Zone. Let's activate Wall of Roots, activate Scavenging Ooze, exile Swift Spear, and now we've got some big creatures here. And I think we can just go ahead and Chord for a Kitchen Finks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 looks good to me. Don't have to play around Atarka's Command. We do still have to worry a little bit about Skullcrack, but my opponent's only got 1 turn to hit us for 4 more damage here. And they don't have access to white mana, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think we stranded them with some cards that they can't cast, and that they must still have a land in hand or something else crazy out of Mardu Burn here. But that is game 1 against Burn. That was a close one. Had to go down to 2 there to cast a Blood Moon, but I do think Blood Moon is actually still a reasonable card against Burn. I don't like Magus of the Moon, however. Also, really don't like Kikki, Inferno Titan, Chords of Calling, and even Revelark is not super fantastic. Avalanche Riders, I think I like playing 1 of, but not more than that. Do really like Path to Exile, Burnt and Forge Tender. All of these 2-drops, actually. Reclamation Sage is still good because it can kill their Eidolons. And Worship I'm like 50-50 on. But Obstinate Baloth I know I definitely want. I think I'm going to cut all of the Chords. And that'll let me put in another Worship as well. And yeah, this looks good. We'll play with 1 Avalanche Riders just to randomly get them maybe. But we're not going to focus on it too much here. And then we just want to make our deck as cheap as possible. And if we can manage to cast some spells, we should be in a decent spot. I'm also going to go ahead and take a look at Bump in the Night and see, does that make you lose life? It does. Okay, so Worship is really not in a wonderful position against this deck. However, Kitchen Finks and Restoration Angel are at a pretty good spot. However, on the draw, do I like this hand, a hand with no 2-drops or 1-drops at all? Not really. Oh, and I don't like this hand either. Let's mulligan again. And then we get a hand with Burnt and Forge Tender and another 2-drop. So I'll keep this one. I'll bottom Eternal Witness in hopes that the Goblin Guide trigger can reveal a land for us, assuming that's going to be our opponent's turn 1 play. But Snap Keep typically can mean a Goblin Guide's coming at you, and looks like that is the case here. So definitely good to scry lands to the bottom. We got a Birds of Paradise, so I'm not super upset to see that one either. I think I will go for Burnt and Forge Tender here instead of Birds of Paradise. But I could actually see not doing that. The thing is, if I were to play Birds of Paradise first, that means next turn I'd be able to play both Selfless Spirit and Birds of Paradise. So we're denying ourselves the ability to do that, but we are giving ourselves the ability to block and thus gain 2 life already. Realistically, this Goblin Guide's just probably not going to attack even. Okay, it will attack if it's got a friend, though. And if it's got 2 friends, the more the merrier. This is a pretty solid start for the burn deck. So what will the Goblin Guides reveal first and foremost here? Birds of Paradise, Birds of Paradise. Sounds good. Let's block a Goblin Guide and then take 3 down to 14. Alright, so here I can play a Selfless Spirit, or I can play one of my Birds of Paradise. I think we're actually in a spot where I just need to cast Selfless Spirit here, though, because I think otherwise I'm just taking too much damage. I think Selfless Spirit has got to come in and block a Goblin Guide for us. Playing a bird would let us evolution, but like I said, against burn, especially if they have creatures out, I like making whatever is the best play for the current turn in the early game. That's not a hard and fast rule, but a lot of the times that's where I like to be. So we're going to go ahead and put BFT on the Swifty here. Alright, we got a Stomping Grounds and a Worship. Okay. Well, Worship, Burnt, and Forge Tender is going to be pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead and put BFT on the Swift Spear. It's pretty likely that they're going to have at least one other spell. Oh, I meant to... That was really bad. I meant to block Selfless Spirit on Goblin Guide, but... Yeah, that was silly. I don't know what made me do that there. We'll put Stomping Grounds into play, untapped, and just play 1 Birds of Paradise here. So I should have 2 extra life points than what I have right now. Yeah, that was embarrassing. And they also didn't cast anything because I blocked the Swift Spear. So I think they're going to kill Birds of Paradise here, end of turn, if they have the opportunity to. They could also just, like, Boros Charm us or something like that. Oh, they're definitely casting some stuff with 2 untapped lands. Or 3 untapped lands. Looks like Culligan's Command, kill my bird, hit me for 2. No. Each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. So this is hitting us for 3. We could make it deal less by sacrificing Selfless Spirit, but I'm willing to just take the damage. This is a card that is worth knowing about and playing around when we eventually combo them off, if that's something that we get to do. But 2 mana for a 3 damage spell, I'm not worried about that at this point in the game. The fact that they cast it probably means that they just have another one, or they have the means to kill us regardless. So it looks like we are going to get really punished here for not blocking with our Selfless Spirit. Means that we effectively take a whole bunch more damage. Now I can counter this Lightning Bolt. That is going to mean that I lose my Burnt and Forge Tender. But we are going to be able to counter the Lightning Bolt, and then what happens? I can block the Swift Spear, and nah, we still lose. I guess I can play a Birds of Paradise. I can hope to hit a Kitchen Finks or something. Yeah, we're not dead. I just have to chump block and trade with a Goblin Guide here. Oh, you know what we can even do? Alright, this is a little bit of a funky play. So I'm going to... what did we reveal? Eternal Witness. Okay. So this is kind of funky. I'm going to block Goblin Guide. I'm going to block with Birds of Paradise as a chump blocker. And then I'm going to sacrifice Selfless Spirit to make my birds indestructible so that I can play Worship. And then my opponent just has to find a kill spell for Birds of Paradise. Pretty reasonable for them to do. But every turn they don't do it, I'll play another creature. So it will get progressively harder and harder for them. Alright, Lightning Helix on the bird. That's why, a great example of why I'm not super impressed with Worship against Burn. Though I think this game was definitely winnable if I had just played it a little bit slower. I just kind of rushed myself and made a rather very silly block there. Not going to change up anything else. Deck looks good otherwise. And we will get to be on the play here for this last game. We've got Selfless Spirit, nothing else. I'm going to mulligan. Alright, Birds of Paradise, turn 2 Blood Moon, turn 3 Fiery Justice. Sand looks good enough. We could lose to Lightning Bolt if they Lightning Bolt our bird, but nothing else I can do here. That's awkward that we have to crack our fetch land. I am going to crack our fetch land and play the Birds of Paradise here, though, turn 1. Too good not to do here. So we need a lot of things to go right here. We need them pretty much to just not have a Lightning Bolt, and then they'll be stuck on just playing creatures, and then we will Fiery Justice their creatures. So that's our plan here. But Bolt the Bird, obviously, is a pretty... Whenever you lose life for the first time each turn, you get an energy. Pay 2 energy. Each opponent loses 3 life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Well, that's pretty nutty. We're just going to Blood Moon them, and drawing another basic forest makes me feel even better about that. We might be short on white mana if they kill our Birds of Paradise, but we're just going to try to Blood Moon the red deck out of the game. Huh. So every 2 turns, every 2 times they crack a fetch land, they get to drain us for 3. Very interesting. Wait, I thought that they changed that interaction. Is that effect not live on Magic Online today? That's annoying. I would have assumed that the Blood Moon change was live on Magic Online now. Oh well, it's probably not still a huge deal. We've got a lot of live draws in the deck. Though, certainly annoying. Alright, and they can still cast a lot of their spells, obviously, too, here. Can't cast that one either. They still need to find 4 more spells that they can cast. Alright, there's one. I guess they only need to find 3 more spells, or rather now 2 more spells, and then 1 Shockland or something. Alright, that could get annoying if we don't find an Eternal Witness or a white mana. Alright, well that's not a white mana either. Unfortunate. Yeah, Wooded Foothills doesn't do anything. They just get to hit for 1. Swift Spear putting us to 7 is not a big deal. That's not really a change in life total. And if we can find like a Kitchen Finks, we are still in a really, really good spot. One Kitchen Finks, all I'm asking. Eternal Witness, I think, is still also pretty good, but a white creature, not so great. We still have time. My opponent might have no real cards in hand and an inability to do anything with this machination until we start damaging them. We do have to be careful about this. All right, Scavenging Ooze can gain a life and be a relevant creature here. Glad to see you, buddy. So I'm just going to wait, and I'll eat this Birds of Paradise in response. They probably have a Lightning Bolt for our Scavenging Ooze here, but it will still gain us 1 life point, and it'll also gain us the 3 life points that they spend to kill it. So I guess it gains us 4 life points here. Eidolon of the Great Revel. That's going to make things a little bit tricky, but okay. Oh, it now lets them trigger their own machinations. How neat is that? How neat is that? Okay, so we will exile our Birds of Paradise, go up to 6 here. And they are going to Searing Blaze. I don't know what they're casting here. Oh, Skullcrack. Oh, okay. Alright, that's a little bit annoying. And then they get to kill us with Machinations. Well played. My opponent's got an interesting take on Burn here. But they were... Oh, you have to sacrifice this too? Oh, this is a weird card. Okay. But that will be enough to do us in there. Unfortunately, I think I could have won game 2 if I played a little bit better. This one, the luck just didn't fall in our favor, unfortunately. But I'm not going to give up just yet. We still got 3 more games. And now we have the ability to submarine in there, as we used to call it. It's when you lose in the first few rounds in the tournaments so that you can win the next one's Royal Basis. Thank you very much for the follow, my friend. I'm gonna grab some water as well. While we are in the queue. I'll be right back. Is a good time to mention, if you have not already hit that follow button, feel free to go ahead and do so now to be notified when I go live. I also have a YouTube channel. In the panels, in the info below there, you can find all of my past stream VODs as well as highlight videos, tips and tricks, deck techs, versus series of Magic Online, and other digital card games that I play. I've got a Temple Garden mirror here. Oh, Ixodor's Dreams, thank you very much for the host, my friend. How did your Gideon streaming go? That was seeming pretty sweet. Alright, well, we can cut them off white mana by evolutioning into a Magus. That doesn't seem like the best use of our time. I feel like we're probably playing against something else like Abzan or some kind of mirror match, but okay, so it's Infect? No, okay, it is Elves. Okay, so if that's the case, well, with this hand, at this point in the game, I think we really just want to focus on comboing our opponent now. Because our opponent had a very, very slow draw. We could destroy the Pendelhaven or the Temple Garden, which would potentially put them on being able to cast some stuff next turn. But The other awkward thing, I guess, is we're a red mana short of being able to actually use Kikki here. Eldritch Evolution could help fix our mana. I don't know if I want to do that. We definitely have an abundance of different plays that we could make. Yeah, maybe I just play Avalanche Riders this turn. There's nothing really that my opponent's got going on that is super impressive. We'll just blow up Temple Garden. They're probably still pretty likely to be able to make more plays, but if this causes them to have to tap the Archdruid to do anything that they want to do, like if their hand's just a bunch of Collected Companies, now they might have to tap the Archdruid to cast a Collected Company, at which point their hand's going to be significantly slower. Alright, so there is a Llanowar Elves. That's free because they can still Archdruid now for 2. Alright, that's also free. So they were able to dump their hand and then tap Archdruid. They just had a weird draw where I guess they didn't draw Llanowar Elves until turn 3. And so didn't want to do anything else too crazy. Huh, 2 Devoted Druids. That's a little bit scary, but what do we want to do against this? So on my upkeep, in response to Avalanche Riders leaving, I can go Chord of Calling for X equals 3, which is about the best that my Chords are really getting here. So I feel like I might need to just Chord for X equals 3, go and get Eternal Witness. If I pay for Avalanche Riders, that is likely way too much mana. But I also really just need Restoration Angel in play. I guess Eternal Witness isn't doing enough for us. I don't think it's going to be quick enough. Though being able to kill this white source might also be super important. My opponent doesn't have any cards left. So even if they get infinite mana, I don't think that that's a huge deal. I think what we're going to do is just let Avalanche Riders die, prepare to Evolution Scavenging Ooze into Restoration Angel, and hope to draw a red source within one of the next 2 turns. And if I draw a red source here, yeah, I can even Evolution away the Voice instead. So yeah, I've got the mana here to play Voice, Evolution it, get a Restoration Angel. I guess I'll blink my Birds of Paradise at that point, and then just hope to not die to my opponent's combat step. Alright, we've got a pretty decent defense here. Let's just grab a Restoration Angel, the other half of the combo, and I'm going to use Restoration Angel to untap my Birds of Paradise. I do not plan on blocking with it, but if we really need to, we can. If my opponent has an Azuri, they probably win. So we are just hoping that they do not have said Azuri. Okay. So now they can tap Elvish Archdruid, and this will... Oh, they actually have an infinite combo here. So basically what they can do is they can give all of their creatures +3/+3, which generates 6 mana for them. And then they can tap both of the Druids and just infinitely pump their whole team there. I'm not going to make them do it out. They were on the play and able to combo before us, so that's the long and short of it. Actually, I'm not sure if they were on the play or not, but either way, they were able to combo out before us, and that's all it takes sometimes. All right, definitely want Aven Mind Sensor. Definitely don't care about any of these Blood Moons. Excuse me. Worships are fine. Eidolons are fine. And I like Scavenging Ooze as well a little bit. Avalanche Riders is pretty mediocre, and Worship's also pretty mediocre. I think I might still play it. Yeah, just play 1 Worship. Yeah, it could be better than Eidolon of Rhetoric. Eidolon is pretty mediocre. You know what? No, I think I do like Eidolon. Let's board out one warship and just play the singleton warship here. The reason I'm only playing one is because they do have ways to kill it. It doesn't look like they're a Shaman of the Pack deck, but if they just have one Walking Ballista in their list as well, that'll do it as well. This hand is great. We've got a Fiery Justice against a deck that Fiery Justice wrecks. So turn 1 Bird, turn 2 Kitchen Finks, turn 3 Fiery Justice, and then we can Eternal Witness it back even. And that should be pretty solid. All right, Cavern for Elves, and then they're going to play Nettle Sentinel or a Mana Dude. Elvish Mystic, sounds good. Oh, we even have just another Fiery Justice. Yeah, this game is not going to be too close. We do have to kill them at some point, but that's not really my main worry. All right, I am going to go ahead and kill the Archdruid here, mostly because we have so many Fiery Justices, and you only have to put 1 point on Elvish Mystic here. So 2, 2, 1, and that'll be enough to do it. And then I will smack for 3 to make them lose the 3 life points that we just gained them. If they play an Archdruid or something here, I probably will just let that one live. I'd love to draw a fetch land and actually Eternal Witness back a fetch land instead of Eternal Witnessing back the Fiery Justice. Yeah, so Archdruid I am just going to let live here, I think. The awkward part is if we're just Eternal Witnessing back Fiery Justice, that's not like it lets them know what's up. But I think that's probably still fine. Let's smack with the Kitchen Finks, put them down to 16 here, and then we'll just Eternal Witness back a Fiery Justice. So yes, they know that this Fiery Justice is coming, but no, they can't really play around it in any capacity. They just kind of have to power through it. They could have a Zuri, actually. A Zuri would be a little bit awkward here because he's got an ability. Oh, they've got their own Eternal Witness, makes sense. And are they going to return their other Archdruid? Yes, they are. All right, well, that's a pretty good play for them, too. That gives them a nice little 2-for-1 as we try to gain 2-for-1s against them. I'm just going to, because, like I said, I've got so many Fieries here, I am just going to keep firing them off. All right, and we get to put them down to 15, or 14, rather, because of that Horizon Canopy, slowly chipping away at their life total. And again, I'm going to let this one sit on the battlefield for a turn. We can Evolution Kitchen Finks into Kikki, which is a pretty solid play and potentially lets us win the game next turn. If we draw any mana source. Huh. Guess I could also Path to Exile us, but that's not really a huge deal here either, because then I'm still getting a land out of this Eldritch Evolution. Alright, I'm into it. Let's go green, green, red. Sacrifice Kitchen Finks. Go ahead and get a Keekum Jeekums. Yeah, that's going to be the best card here. And then I'm going to make a copy of Eternal Witness. Eternal Witness is going to return Fiery Justice. And then we are going to get to smack for 2. And if we draw any land next turn, we get to win the game. Oh, that is a great point, Royal Basis. Yeah, if we needed to, we'd get to make a copy of Birds of Paradise. Great call there. So that would allow us to win next turn, while also returning another Fiery Justice to our hand, which has got to be... well, if we swung with Finks first... yeah, I guess he wouldn't have traded off with it. But we either swing with Kitchen Finks or we swing with the Restoration Angel copy. Yeah, it's pretty negligible, but you're right. I guess it's one more point of damage. It's pretty close to being the exact same thing, though. So do I want to change up anything else? I could take out Revelark for Worship. I like that. They're not going to kill my cards, and Worship is just a little bit more beefy. They're not going to kill my creatures unless I block with them, so shouldn't really matter. All right, Birds of Paradise turn 1 into turn 2 Voice or Birds of Paradise. I'm going to keep this. This hand's definitely slow, but it's got 3 mana, and it's got some reasonably powerful magic cards here. So really want to find another land, of course. But if we do, we're in a great position. If I'm able to play both Birds of Paradise or even just play Eidolon of Rhetoric next turn, that would be great. Okay. Yeah, I won't mind just playing Eidolon of Rhetoric here. That'll stop his combo potential. But what's the likelihood that he combos us? He doesn't even have access to white mana here. I think I'm just going to play Birds of Paradise, Voice of Resurgence. And I'm going to protect my own life total a little bit here. I think we've got more than enough colored mana sources right now. And the sooner we get all these cards onto the board, the sooner we can Linvala potentially. Though that's not going to happen next turn. Alright, he does have the Temple Garden. And he does not have the Vizier, but he's got a Collected Company. Alright, alright. Gotta hope to dodge Vizier. He's got a Heritage Druid, so he's going to continue to dump his hand here. Then he can play another Collected Company if he'd like to untap Devoted Druid. But just Arc Druid. Alright, so that's annoying, but not game-breaking. So I think we can win next turn. We go Kikki, Jiki, make a Voice, swing in with both of those, and then we'll have the token copies to then be able to chord for X equals 4 next turn. I think that's the best thing I can do. The only other things I can do is chord for 3, go get Aven Mind Sensor, Kitchen Finks, stuff like that. I think the best thing here, though, that I can do is really just going to be to present lethal next turn. And Quick Maniac Guy, thank you very much for the follow, my friend. Appreciate it. All right, so we're going to copy Voice of Resurgence now so that we have a 5/5 token. I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we already have enough. The only other option would have been that I could have Kikki Jiki'd on their end step to ensure that then I have 2 tokens, but this should be good enough here. Just make a 5/5. So now I've got a 5/5 and a 2/2 that can block their creatures, and I just have to not die to an Azori. This looks good. This looks good for us. 7 mana. Eternal Witness, Collected Company. Okay. We got a game here. We got a game here. So they have 4 mana. They're going to cast Collected Company. Kind of biting my nails here that I didn't put an Eidolon of Rhetoric onto the battlefield. Another bunch of Arc Druids. That is going to give us the win here. So I just have to not die on this combat, which is going to be very easy to do. And then On my turn, I can cast Chord of Calling for X equals anything that I'd like to. Go ahead and get ourselves a little bit of Kikki action. And we will go ahead and get Restoration Angel, and that will win us the match. Sweet! So, 1-1 against Elves and 0-1 against Burn. Opponent had some big monsters here, but we were going to be able to make Infinite Angels. He didn't need to see it. We conceded to him on game 1, so he was nice enough to repay the favor for us there and just hit that concede button. I guess I potentially should have explained or at least shown the deck list for those of you joining us off of Ixidor's Dreams stream. But here's the deck list, and if you'd like to see more of this deck, I'm pretty sure Dreams was streaming with his Gideon Tribal deck, but if you'd like to see more of this deck, before midnight tonight, Ixidor's Dreams and I will both have uploaded to our YouTube channels. They will have uploaded to our YouTube channels the a versus series video where he's going to be playing Black White Smallpox and I will be playing this deck. I think I'm just going to stick to streaming today. Alrighty, let's, This hand's a little bit awkward. But, I mean, I'm definitely going to keep it. It's got a Blood Moon and a Fiery Justice, but I'm really hoping that the Fiery Justice is better than the Blood Moon, because Noble Hierarch's not going to be able to tap for red mana. Looks like we're playing against... Oh, okay, Dredge. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, well that helps our Blood Moon be good, but Blood Moon's really not going to be at its best against this deck. What we really just want is Scavenging Ooze. And I don't even think I'm going to grab Stomping Grounds here. I think I'm just going to grab a Forest. Though, you know what? Being able to cast Fiery Justice is good enough. Oh my gosh. Welp, that's embarrassing. I blame the Magic Online client, but yeah, those were too small, and they both start with S and are red. So I clicked what I thought was a Stomping Grounds, but turns out was a Sacred Foundry. I blame the interface, but that's definitely my fault. That is like the worst of both worlds here. I think we can still get him in sideboarding games, but that is super unfortunate. Alright, let's draw a basic Forest and just get rewarded here, though. And now we're just waiting on them to figure out what they want to do with that Neonate, I suppose. Or they're going for some sick Jedi mind tricks. I'm not sure. They already kind of tricked me here. But that is their name and that is their game. Trying to just Jedi mind trick us. Alright, so Faithless Looting is what they're going to start with here. Sounds sweet. Sounds sweet. And then they go for the Neonate. Looks like they don't have too much going on either. They went Faithless Looting, discard 2 lands. This could be that crazy deck that just tries to discard cards and then like play that weird card from the new set. I don't know. I think I already fucked this game up way too much, but yeah, Teamer Battle Rage, Street Wraith. Yeah, this is a brew for sure. Which actually means we want to Blood Moon them even more now. So even though I messed up super hard with that Stomping Grounds play, then Bloodstained Mire. I'm assuming we're going to see something real happen here. Or maybe just a flashback Faithless Looting. Who knows what the heck's going on here. Yeah, this is a flashback Faithless Looting. Okay. So this is like a Vengevine deck. And it plays that creature that says when you discard or cycle creatures, it costs cheaper until end of turn. I'm just going to Blood Moon him and then try to beat him with a Kitchen Finks, though. It's a really bad plan. Alright, hopefully we can make them regret discarding both of those Goblin Guides here. Alright, let's just Blood Moon, see what happens. Like, it's still a red deck, but now they can't cast their Vengevines. I don't know. Definitely a little bit loose, but I have no idea what my opponent's doing discarding cards like this. Do they just have, like, Hazoret in hand or something? This is definitely one of the goofier games of Magic that I have played in a little bit, due to both my play and my opponent's. We're going to try to Inferno Titan them, I guess, on turn 6. I don't know, man. Alright, here comes the Goblin Guide beats. Turn 4, nothing like a turn 4 Goblin Guide action. What do you got for us, Goblin Guide? Avalanche Riders? It's not horrible. I mean, it's the most mana efficient play we can make, debatably. I'm going to play a Kitchen Finks, though, still here. That's going to stop a lot of this action my opponent's got going on. We do have the benefit here of making our opponent think that we are just playing straight red-white. Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is embarrassing. So, Faithless Looting? No, it doesn't look like a Faithless Looting. Burning Tree Emissary to get green. All right. Well, Blood Moon's bad against this deck. My opponent can easily make green mana, apparently. All right, into another Burning Tree Emissary. Well, that they could already do. What do they got for us? Are they even going to use this green mana, or are they just going to flashback Faithless Looting here? Alright, they are just going to flashback Faithless Looting before we blow up all their lands with Avalanche Riders here. I will block Kitchen Finks on Swift Spear here to try to trade for that. And leaving Goblin Guide in play is always better, too. Yeah, so this is the card that I was talking about here, Hollow One. So we'll take the Goblin Guide trigger, get a Wooded Foothills. We are very close to Inferno Titaning our opponent here, and then we will stay at 17, rather, from this combat. Oh, wow, I actually get to Kikki my Avalanche Riders as well. So I'm rewarded pretty significantly here by playing Kikki first, and then hoping to just play 2 Avalanche Riders on my next turn. Yeah, I like this. Let's just play Kikki. So this is going to stop any of their attacks, and then next turn we get to start Avalanche Ridering them out of the game, or we get to make a copy of Inferno Titan and actually just win the game next turn. we'll get to have three Inferno Titan triggers, plus we'll be attacking with a 6/6. So that's 15 damage. The other two Kitchen Finks. All right, we'll be a little bit off. We'll be a few points of damage off, but still, double Inferno Titan. That is kind of the dream. So if they attack here, we'll make a copy of Kitchen Finks. Since they don't attack, I will still make a copy of Kitchen Finks that we then get to attack with on our next turn. And then I will play Mountain, Inferno Titan. This is the dream. This is the dream. Let's go 2 and 1. Let's copy Inferno Titan. Let's say 2 and 1. And then let's attack with these guys and point 3 damage at their face. And that is 1 off, or no, it's 3 off lethal. 3 off lethal. So 1 more Inferno Titan, and they'll be dead here. Sweet. That is, no, I'm sorry. That's not my first time copying an Inferno Titan with Kikki, but it's my first time winning a game that I've punted that hard. So I'll take it. What do we want against this deck? Well, Worship seems insane. They're a little light on removal spells, and they're only going to be able to win through damage here. Scavenging Ooze also seems particularly crazy. Magus of the Moon is bad against Lightning Bolt decks. I think Avalanche Riders is mediocre too. Chord of Calling and Inferno Titan I think actually should be mediocre. I think my opponent got pretty greedy that game. Like, I understand that the deck has Faithful Suiting in it. I'm pretty sure you just want to play Goblin Guide whenever you can. Path to Exile seems great. All right, I gotta close Discord for a second. I will get back to you after I am done streaming Dreams. Stofi, thank you very much for the follow. Everybody else, feel free to hit that follow button if you have not already. Blood Moon does seem bad. The deck is like pretty mono red, but we still do get to cut off their splash colors by putting Blood Moons into play. So anything that they're playing like Vengevine, but the thing is Vengevine does come back regardless. I think I agree that Blood Moon isn't that great. Question is, what else do we have? Oh, Eidolon of Rhetoric stops Vengevine. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Engineered Explosives is definitely a card that you could play in this sideboard, and I do talk about it in my deck tech video on my YouTube channel. So I can definitely understand people that like that card. I think I'm just going to board in all of my Artifact Destruction here. Curious if I want to board in Selfless Spirit as well. Could also board out Kikki. That card's a little bit slow against Lightning Bolt decks. So, like, I mean, Blood Moon must be part of the reason that we won that game, right? Huh. Oh, I do want Burnt and Forge Tender as well. So maybe I cut a Kikki or a Chord of Calling for a Burnt and Forge Tender? Or do I like Revelark more? Yeah, let's cut Kikki. And I'm pretty sure I pressed submit there. I think it'll auto-submit if you have a legal deck list. Yeah, we've got Reclamation Sage. So Reclamation Sage will get their sideboard cards in some scenarios, but it will also be able to get their Hallowed One, worst case scenario. I'll keep this one. This hand's going to let us cast some green spells, which are always sweet. Alright, are we just going to see a Goblin Guide this game? Have you changed your mind, Jedi Mind Tricks? Street Wraith. Okay. Another Street Wraith. Oh, are we going to see a turn 1 Hallowed one? That would be sweet. Faithless Looting. Okay, okay. I like it. Alrighty, so they do have a Hallowed one for their turn 1 play. I think what that means is I'm going to want to just Reclamation Sage it because it is an artifact creature, and I think that's going to be pretty embarrassing for them. So let's just pay 2 life so that we can take 4 less damage from this guy's attacks here. And they discarded a Swift Spear and a Lightning Bolt, which I also like to see. Those are pretty good cards to discard to Faithless Looting there, so... Just to play a 1-mana 4/4? Not sure, not sure. This deck is definitely funky, but it's cool. And I do appreciate people trying new things and cool things in Modern. That's what I'm doing, too. I'm trying something cool. Like, look at this hand. Selfless Spirit, Reclamation Sage, Burnt-in Forge Tender, Eldritch Evolution. Come on, this deck's not playable. Alrighty. What are they going to have as they turn to follow-up here? Grim Lavamancer's pretty good. And Goblin Guide we can block with the Rec Sage. Grim Lavamancer's great, though. Alright, we got another Eldritch Evolution on the horizon. I'm just going to go ahead and Rec Sage this Hallowed one. And our plan is to block the Goblin Guide. If our opponent lets us, though, this Lava Man's got plenty of fuel here. It's going to be pretty difficult for us to get this... For us to get any creature in play, really. Burnt-in Forge Tender, I guess, can evolution into a Kitchen Finks. It's a little bit slow, but they're not going to be able to kill it. I'd much rather... evolution this Selfless Spirit, but next turn I think we're going to play both Selfless Spirit and Burnt-in Forge Tender, so should work out reasonably well for us here anyways. This looks like it is probably a Lava Man activation. Kitchen Finks is probably one of the best cards in our deck at this point. Huntmaster of the Fells isn't even as good against Grim Lavamancer. Really just we want to chain Kitchen Finks here, Kitchen Finks, and then we'll evolution our Kitchen Finks into a Resto. They are going to go for the bird, though. Alright. Well, honestly, I'm fine with either of those. They leave themselves with a Faithless Looting, and they play a 1/1 Menace creature. Are they going to attack even? They're not going to attack. All right. That's pretty cool. So I'll just play another 2/1. That way we have a few different options here. I'm really just going with the most mana efficient option. That's really my only call here. And there's no sense evolutioning a Rec Sage into a Kitchen Finks at the cost of 2 life from a Stomping Grounds. So I'd rather just put my Shocklands into play tapped as much as I possibly can so that we just take the least amount of damage as possible. Just make sure we're not F6'd with a Selfless Spirit in play. I'm pretty sure I'm not here, but it's probably just going to be Lava Man on Rec Sage action. If we view the sideboard, I did board out the Kikki, and we do still have Revelark in the deck. Could see boarding in Linvala for the last one, or just boarding in Cunning Sparkmage, both of which are ways to stop Grim Lavamancer. Cunning Sparkmage can kill Neonate. It can add to our Fiery Justice totals, so Cunning Spark Mage is probably a little bit better. It's also just a mana cheaper than Linvala. The Linvala is a 3/4 flyer, which also makes that card pretty solid as well. So I'm not sure which of those we'll wind up going with. Ruan Thaler, thank you very much for the follow, my friend. All right, let's yield to this Goblin Guide trigger. See what it shows us. Inferno Titan. That one's pretty big. That one's pretty big. Are they going to Lava Man us here? What is the plan? I think I just want to block on this Goblin Guide. Yeah, let's just block with Goblin Guide on with the Reclamation Sage here. So we only take 1 damage here. Just trying to preserve our life total as much as possible. Like we do. I think I may Evolution away this Selfless Spirit next turn. I think that's just going to be better for us than playing just a Burrington Forge Tender. It's not like my opponent's clock is that aggressive, but it also sets up a really, really good Evolution next turn should my Kitchen Finks survive for another moment here. So let's sacrifice Selfless Spirit. To pay attention to like Temur Battle Rage, but Temur Battle Rage seems really weird in this deck. Sure, they've got Vengevine and other stuff going on. But yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Oh, Scavenging Ooze. I forgot about that one too. That would have been good if we had some extra mana, but of course they killed our Birds of Paradise. Yeah, let's just go for Kitchen Finks. It's just the best on board. And then being able to Evolution the Kitchen Finks into a Resto and blink the Finks. That might not totally work out. Ooh, they Skull Crack us in response. All right. Solid play. Solid play. So assuming they keep Lavamancer activation open, we won't be able to do the Evolution Kitchen Finks, get it into Resto, and then blink the Kitchen Finks again here. But if our opponent taps out for a Faithless Looting next turn, then we will be able to. Also, we won't be able to do it if they use Lava Man to start chipping away at our Kitchen Finks, so that is another potential option. I'm not sure what they'll go for here, if they'll just go for our face, or if they will make our Finks persist. It looks like they're going to make our Kitchen Finks persist. Well, seems solid. Now our best draw is any of our basic lands, followed by any of our fetch lands, to try to gain some life off Obstinate Baloth here. Also, just straight up drawing a Scavenging Ooze would be good as well, because that would leave us with an additional mana open to activate it. So Scavenging Ooze, basic lands, and then non-basic lands. And also just Kitchen Finks. Kitchen Finks is still a really good draw. Birds of Paradise or Noble Hierarchs are probably the next best draws after that, because I can play Burrington Forge Tender and a Birds of Paradise in the same go, though they are just going to eat a Grim Lavamancer activation. Our opponent has showed that they are more than willing to activate destroying our creatures. I could Evolution for Revelark, but like I said, I don't think that that actually gets us anything here other than a 4/3 flyer, which could potentially matter, though I don't think we're going to get to untap with Kitchen Finks either. If our opponent was willing to ping the first half of Kitchen Finks, they're probably just going to go ahead and kill it. Otherwise, it's like a pretty big blowout if I just play a land and keep open Restoration Angel. Yeah. Yeah, I had to assume that that was going down. It's going down, freak. See ya, Kitchen Finks. You did good work, buddy. You got skull cracked, but you still tried. And that is what's important here. Yeah, none of these plays are particularly exciting. Can play a Qasali Pride Mage that dies to Lava Man, or a Burrented Forge Tender that's just going to sit there for a minute. But Burrented Forge Tender is good if my opponent top decks a Goblin Guide. So, I'm into it. I shouldn't F6 anymore. Need to go back to F2ing. We have a lot more time on our clock than my opponent. My opponent might just be learning this deck for the first time. It's a pretty complicated and crazy deck. It's definitely a powerful Grim Lavamancer deck, I'll say that. Grim Lavamancer will never run out of steam in this deck, but it will if you don't have any other type of clock to balance it out. And that happens when you start discarding your cards like Monastery Swiftspear, so I'm not sure what else they're working with, but it's turn 6 and I've barely disrupted them. Yeah, Qasali dies instantly. The main benefit of playing Qasali Pride Mage is what if I draw, like, what if next turn I draw a Scavenging Ooze, which is a bad example as well, but what if I draw, like, a Wall of Roots? Well, that's a bad example as well, too. Okay. So I guess it doesn't matter. Basically, I was thinking, what if I draw another 2-drop and then want to be able to play a 2-drop alongside Burrented Forge Tender? But any other 2-drop, I'm either going to be able to cast alongside it, or I'm just going to want to cast it itself, or it's going to also cost white mana, like this one does. Voice of Resurgence is a much better card here. They will be able to end step, ping it, untap, ping it, but that's still 2 more pings not on my face, and I think at this point my opponent should probably just be aiming for my face. So we can double block one of the Neonates if they don't kill the voice here. Alright, now they are going for my face. Makes sense. We will prevent the last points of burn, but I won't prevent any burn up until then. And here we go. Do we have a Vengevine? If we have a Vengevine, I think that that's lethal. Yeah, if they're grabbing a Stomping Grounds untapped, they've got to have a Vengevine here. Yep. So do we have any way to survive this? Yeah, we do. We just have to sacrifice our Burrented Forge Tender to counter Grim Lavamancer's ability and then chump block Vengevine on Voice of Resurgence here. I think that's the only way we survive. Yep. Alright, and then we get to untap with an Obstinate Baloth that has to trade with a Vengevine, but... Oh, they don't have Grim Lavamancer activation open, even. Oh, I maybe should have double blocked Vengevine here. Alright, well I get to play Wall of Roots, Qasali Pride Mage here. And where does this lead us? It still makes us almost dead? No, we're not quite dead here. We get to double block a Neonate and then trade with Vengevine, take 1, drop to 1. If my opponent has anything else, obviously we're dead. But then next turn we get to play Obstinate Baloth if Wall of Roots survives. The Maniacs have Menace, so they have to get double blocked. So now I will double block a Neonate and then trade with a Vengevine. He will probably just rummage with the Neonate. Either way, it's going to put one card into his graveyard. He might just flashback Faithless Looting next turn, but we're just playing Obstinate Baloth regardless. And I think we're actually safe here. Unless they have Temur Battle Rage. Temur Battle Rage wins them the game. Oh, that's a really silly interaction, right? Temur Battle Rage gives it double strike, yeah? What do they have for 3 mana? I think this is just a Faithless Looting. No, it's just an additional copy of Neonate and Skullcrack. Okay, sure. Burn players are the sickest slow rollers ever. Oh gosh. They really are. Alright, so Cunning Spark Mage, Linvala, Selfless Spirit. I think we want some number of these cards in favor of some of our expensive cards. Kikki Jiki, Revelark, and Chord of Calling. I'm going to keep one Kikki Jiki in the deck, I believe. We do have to keep them off of Grim Lavamancer activations, or our Worship also is not that great, because then they can just slowly kill off all of our creatures. So I think I like clearing both of these and bringing in both of these monsters. Chord of Calling is just so expensive against these decks, and Inferno Titan I think is still good enough, even though it's a 6-drop. It can just win you the game, and they do have to win in combat, so like Inferno Titan's just a big, beefy blocker there too. It has to get like... It's going to get 2 for 1. It's going to get at least a 3 for 1 in any scenario, as any 6-drop should. But pretty much, it's going to come into play, kill 1 or 2 things, and then they'll have to like attack into it and lightning bolt it, if not just able to lightning bolt us. And that was a pretty close game for only having 3 lands as well. We're still really close to being able to stabilize there. Of course, our opponent was, I guess, just kind of toying with us anyways. Maybe they weren't totally sure how, like, Burnt and Forge Tender would interact with Skullcrack. And I am pretty sure, I'm like 98% positive that Skullcrack will not kill through Worship. But it does actually allow you to kill a Burnt and Forge Tender, which is pretty crazy. So, like, if I block with Burnt and Forge Tender and then they just Skullcrack me, the Forge Tender actually dies. I'll be on the play here. A turn 1 Forge Tender, a Kitchen Finks, and some Fiery Justices. Yeah, I just don't like Revelark against these slow decks. It's reasonable, but I think Linvala and Cunning Spark Mage are both going to be just as good, if not better. Like, my problem that game wasn't that I didn't draw Revelark. It was that I didn't have enough 3-cost cards to cast. So, and that's typically what happens against red decks. I don't think I can afford to keep this one, though. BFT and Kitchen Finks and even Obstinate Baloth are really good. But I think I just need more mana sources. And I like the Fiery Justices too. This one's really, really close, but I'm going to favor getting the mulligan here. This hand is pretty terrible, but it's got enough mana sources to cast anything that we draw. That is definitely going to get scryed to the bottom, though. And we are just going to hope that Linvala Worship can carry us a little bit, but definitely need some voices, some Kitchen Finks, and Birds of Paradise cards like that within the next 2 turns. Alright, are they finally going to start with a 1-drop? They don't again. Alright, let's say Temple Guard and go. This looks like a draw Linvala might be good against. Linvala also stops Neonate, as does Cunning Spark Mage, so those were the other reasons to bring in the 2 of those. What do they got for us here? A Street Wraith to start things out? Are they just going to put a 4/4 into play? 4/4 is super not scary. I really just want to watch them loot away their lightning bolt again. That's what I want more than anything else in the world. Here we go. Here's the Faithless looting. Throw away that lightning bolt for me, please. Yep. There's the Faithless looting, as is custom. And see a lightning bolt, or are they going to bin some creatures so that they can throw out the hallowed one for free? They only need to bin one more creature, so I'm hoping they just discard Goblin Guide Lightning Bolt off this Faithless looting. Scavenging Ooze, Kitchen Finks, Birds of Paradise, all of those are still pretty good draws. Birds of Paradise not great at this point, so they bin a Vengevine and a Skullcrack. Alright, those are pretty good ones. That lets them play a 4/4 Hallowed one for free. And do they also have a Goblin Guide for us? No. That would have been really good. Goblin Guide would have allowed them to hit us with a Vengevine this turn. We might not have been able to beat that, but luckily they just don't have it. Probably just want to grab a... Guess I want to grab a Sacred Foundry here, actually. Alrighty. The interesting with Linvala, because my opponent has access to... like Lightning Bolt, and because I have Worship, I'm probably just not going to block whatever they attack with. So even if they attack with a Goblin Guide into Linvala, I'm probably just going to be taking the damage. They don't have any other follow-up creatures, though, which is crazy. So, who knows what they are working with over there. Let's grab a Sacred Foundry, say no, and slam a 4-drop. Linvala is one of the only creatures that I cannot Kikki Jiki. But, like I said, we are really just looking for a card to combo with Worship here. Kitchen Finks, something like that. Linvala is pretty funny. It's super powerful, but because it is both legendary and an angel, you can't Kikki it and you can't resto it. So... once you put Linvala in play, it is just a creature. Sure, it can tap for your Chord Callings, but there's really not much synergy it's doing. It's just being a big, beefy flyer with an insane ability to stop any activated abilities of creatures your opponents control. That part is definitely powerful. Is this round 5, or... I think it is, right? No, this is round 3. It's got to be. Or round 4. Wrong on both accounts. I think they lightning bolted my face twice when I wasn't looking there. That's really good. That's really, really good for us. They just used 2 lightning bolts on our face. As long as they don't have 2 more lightning bolts, we're going to survive and be able to play Worship, and they just dumped their hand of kill spells. So, no way I am blocking here. If they have 2 more lightning bolts, if they have the full play set, well, good for them. But otherwise, they are going to have trouble dealing with my Worship here. And then I'm going to crack a fetch land. And they're probably going to run out of time before they find an answer to both Linvala and Birds of Paradise. But... yeah, when your opponent bolts you, typically that's a pretty scary feeling, but I have never felt better to have 2 lightning bolts cast on me. That's going to be pretty embarrassing for them. They're going to have to win the game right now. Now, they have slow-rolled us before. This opponent has, even though we've been completely tapped out, done similarly silly things. Oh, that's very true. My opponent cannot cycle... or wait, no. That's not true, actually. So, cycling is an activated ability, but it's a very specific instance here where a Hallowed One or a Street Wraith in my opponent's hand is not a creature. It's a creature card. So, it's a very specific thing... but it means that, my opponent said, thank goodness for, Destructive Revelry. So my opponent either has a Destructive Revelry here, or they are just saying that they have some in their deck and are thus going to be able to draw out of this. I hope they just Destructive Revelry and then Lightning Bolt me now. That would be pretty silly. I told my opponent, they said they've got 3 Destructive Revelries, just got to draw it. I said, yep, you've got 4 minutes. Just play quicker. They said they're good. They are probably just going to... So they could Destructive Revelry me here. I am just going to hope that they don't have it. Yep. That would be a pretty sick gotcha, though. Like, I could have chump blocked with the Birds of Paradise. What do we got? We got Faithless Lootings. Yep, that'll definitely help them find it. So we're looking for another Warship. Kitchen Finks would also be good. We do also want to clock my opponent and make sure that we are attempting to present lethal that way. Oh, this Arid Mesa is going to be a dead card in my hand now. But it's probably fine. I may have wanted to get more red mana here. So what else can I do? I can Evolution for Inferno Titan. I can Evolution for Kitchen Finks. Or I can wait until next turn and Evolution for Kitchen Finks. Or Evolution for Restoration Angel on next turn after Kikki this turn. There's no way I can win the game this turn. And unfortunately, I don't have Magus of the Moon. So at that point, do I just go and get myself a Huntmaster of the Fells here? I think I could pot away Linvala into Huntmaster of the Fells. What else do we have access to? We just have to hope that he doesn't have another way to deal more damage. Like, even if they Destructive Revelry, if I go get Kitchen Finks or Huntmaster, I'm still in an okay spot. I just have to block this Hallowed one then. So I'm going to smack for 3, and then I think I'm going to turn Linvala into Huntmaster of the Fells. Could also go Kitchen Finks. That could also be really good. And it does also present lethal next turn. But then I need to crack Arid Mesa, which also probably is irrelevant. The difference between 2 life and 1 life. Oh no, it will be relevant because they're going to Destructive Revelry me back down to 1. So if I want to cast this Kikki, I can't get rid of this Birds of Paradise. So let's hang on to Bird, sacrifice Linvala, and let's take a look. I could also go get Scavenging Ooze. That seems good here, doesn't it? Burnton Forge Tender is good, but Scavenging Ooze, my opponent has 2 Vengevines and 2 Street Wraiths, so I would go and take those, have a 5/5, and then have a monster that is threatening to them. So yeah, let's go Scavenging Ooze away these Vengevines here. And this Street Wraith as well. Yeah, that doesn't quite give us lethal next turn. Yeah, Stofy, I saw that same line there. Going into Ooze and eating 3 creatures, and I don't know if Linvala or Ooze is going to be better here, but I like the green mana, and I like... My opponent in chat said yes. pretending like they had the destructive revelry. Oh, sorry. So who knows if they are lying or not, but they said yes at 640. No poker face. No poker face for them here, but this definitely does play around destructive revelry. Unless they have destructive revelry Goblin Guide. Roast. Well, that is an awkward one then, too. Or are they just going to worship us out of the game? Well, that would be awkward, too. If they just have a lightning bolt here, now they win. Or destructive revelry. Okay, they're going to go ahead and put us down to 1 and then revelry us. Nope, they're not doing anything. Oh, I should have cracked my Arid Mesa before any of that happened. That was a little bit silly. Now I have to choose between Kikki, Jiki, and Voice. Oh, that's embarrassing. I definitely should have cracked Arid Mesa before this combat damage. That's really embarrassing. But at the very least, Voice is a tough card for them to kill through Worship. They need Destructive Revelry. It could be a 6 slow roll again here, but we do have a win condition now. We get to keep making Voice of Resurgence tokens. What else do they got for us? Skullcrack. They're going to test it. It doesn't work. Close one. Oh, so they Skullcrack and then they Revelry? Oh, do they have it? No, it's a Reckless Bushwhacker. All right, we are safe. We are safe. My opponent was just testing to make sure the interaction worked. Those attacks are fine. I'll take the damage. Alrighty. Then let's Kikki Jiki, and yeah, now my opponent needs exactly Destructive Revelry. There's no way they're going to be able to destroy all of our creatures here. I overpaid on that Kikki Jiki as well, but that is perfectly acceptable here. We'll hit them for 4, and then end of turn we'll get a 4/4. I didn't eat Linvala because I did not keep open green mana. I only kept open Arid Mesa. And that would have lost me more life than it gained me. I thought. But turns out it was probably just wrong. Because once they killed my guy, they were able to attack. It was just something I didn't calculate. Alright, Faithless Looting, Faithless Looting. Alright. Can we get there one time? One time, no Destructive Revelry. Oh, Burning Tree Emissary? Is this the slow roll? Is this the slow roll? GG's Eldritch Evolution. That will allow us to sacrifice this Voice of Resurgence here. And we didn't beat my opponent on time. We beat him the real way. We'll go ahead and get a Restoration Angel here then and combo them out. Just in the nick of time, we are able to make infinite angels here. And I get the GG's from my opponent. No gut shot. That was quite the match. And I think we've got one more for us here. Yeah, we've got one more match here. So I'm going to start that up in just a second. And yeah, we'll see how we are able to finish that off. Give me like 10 seconds though, guys. I'm going to put up some noise. Alrighty, last round here. And we are almost all the way through Hamilton as well, as we wrap up this league. I figured the Hamilton soundtrack was about the length of a modern league. A little bit over 2 hours. 2 hours, 20 minutes, looks like. Yeah, 2 hours, 20 minutes. Pretty good estimation there. God Emperor 1, thank you very much for the follow. And everybody else, if you have not already done so, feel free to hit that follow button. Appreciate it a lot, though, God Emperor 1. I'm going to keep this hand. It is definitely a little bit slow. However, if Kitchen Finks and Fiery Justice are good against my opponent, which it looks like they're going to be reasonably so, Magus of the Moon is reasonable too, but I don't think we're going to be able to cast it just because it's going to be too good against us. Pretty much this hand gets to go turn 3 Kitchen Finks, turn 4 Restoration Angel, turn 3 Evolution, which is a pretty good bet against Eldrazi decks. As long as they don't have the Thought Nazi for us next turn, we will be able to have a pretty good showing of creatures ourselves. Magus of the Moon is juicy. I just don't think we can win with just Magus of the Moon. Yeah, especially not if they have the basic wastes. Alright, Expedition map. That one is not a huge deal. It means no Thought Nazi. It means that we are probably getting smashed next turn. But at the very least, we'll have a Kitchen Finks to eat up some of that damage. And like I said, all we need now to complete this combo is one more land for Restoration Angel. And then we will be able to evolution the Kitchen Finks into a Kikki. So I feel good about this game. This deck is pretty low on interaction. So just being able to combo against them, having that combo in your deck, I think is pretty good. And I'm not sure if it doesn't look like it is Eldrazi Tron. Yeah, they just grabbed another Eldrazi Temple. It looks like it's just colorless Eldrazi. A little bit more aggressive, but not really... I don't know, this deck doesn't see that much play. I don't even know what colorless Eldrazi there are. I think I do want to just block here. Sure, it'll draw them a card. It'll give them another opportunity to Thought Nazi us just by drawing them one more card deeper in our deck. But we want Kitchen Finks to persist anyways so that we can Resto and flash it back. They grabbed a Karn Liberated, but they can't really cast that without the use of additional mana. So this is 6 mana. Oh, we got ourselves an Endbringer. Okay. Alright, well, I'm just going to... I don't know, I can Resto my Kitchen Finks now, or I can wait until they try to Endbringer it. I think just doing it now is like a little bit safer, but it's really, really close. I think it's just going to be safer to go ahead and do it now. Yeah, because my opponent isn't in any rush necessarily to ping my Kitchen Finks, so let's just go ahead and reset my Kitchen Finks now. And then on my turn, I should be able to just Evolution and win the game. So, should be over in not too long here. White mana. No, I think we're just seeing a Reality Smasher here. I don't think we're seeing anything too crazy. My opponent can Ghost Quarter us, but that's not going to be relevant either. Yep, Reality Smasher. Can't be countered. You know what? I don't want to. You can have it. Definitely not blocking that guy. I think my opponent's just going to crash for 10 here. That's what I would do. Just crashing for 5. Nope. Okay, yeah, crashing for 10. And then they'll have 2 mana up. If they have the counter target sorcery spell, well, obviously that's awkward, but I don't think that there's anything that we can do to play around it. We can Fiery Justice them, killing Endbringer and hope to win the long game, but now that they've played a Relic, luckily we still have one Kikki left in the deck So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice Kitchen Finks. That will persist. They might exile it in response. It doesn't really even matter. The writing is on the wall here. I can go get a Kikki. Yeah, I think they know the jig is up if they don't use a... They didn't even tap Relic, which is all that they had to do to exile my Kitchen Finks there. Yep, they know what's up. So let's go ahead and grab a Kikki Mirror Breaker, copy our Restoration Angel, and we should see a concession in short order here. Dismember? Wow, they kept open Dismember mana. All right. And now Kitchen Finks can die to Endbringer. Yep. Okay, well, I need to draw a Restoration Angel. I really didn't think that they had anything. Still doesn't explain why they didn't just tap their Relic, but I don't think they cared too much. Do they have another Smasher for us here? Looks like it. So that's lethal. Wow, that was really, really close. I really thought we had him there. The deck is typically pretty light on interaction, but they happen to have one of their Dismembers here, which is unfortunate, but I think we can get him in a best out of 3. I'm not super worried. Linvala I really like in the matchup, and Worship I think is okay. Worship is good, but they do have stuff like Endbringer and Walking Ballista. The Linvala plus Worship is probably enough of a lock that it gets even better. I think I also really like Reclamation Sage because it can blow up a lot of their interaction like Relic and what's the card that Ratchet Bomb blows up Ratchet Bomb as well. And then we have stuff like Aven Mind Sensor, Path to Exile. I don't like Eidolon. Don't think we need Selfless Spirit or Scavenging Ooze. In fact, I'm probably going to board out the 2 that we have. Maybe even in favor of Qasali Pride Mage. Then Cunning Spark Mage does have some uses, but I think it's mostly not worth playing. So I'm going to board out these 2 guys as well. Definitely want Aven Mind Sensor, Path to Exile. Those seem like the most important cards. Cards that don't seem as important are Blood Moon, Magus of the Moon, Chord of Calling, and Inferno Titan. Revelark I actually do like a decent amount just because it's a big creature that can block like a Thought-Knot Seer or something. But it's also not great, especially if they are destroying our graveyard. And then Avalanche Riders is like same thing, kind of 50-50. They do wind up having a lot of lands, but if we can blow up their Eldrazi temples, sometimes that sets them back enough. So let's see what happens if we board out all of our Blood Moons. Can we board in all of these cards? No, not quite. But we also have Chord of Calling and Inferno Titan, which are reasonable cards to come out. I think I like having both Artifact Destructions in the deck. This is even a deck that could play like Grafdigger's Cage or some funky stuff like that. So I think I like this. We got punished for going for the combo that time, but I think in general comboing is going to be good against them. I think we probably don't need Revelark and that we can cut 1 Chord of Calling. The only other thing I want to look at, do I really want both Avalanche Riders and do I really want Obstinate Baloth? I think I do want both Avalanche Riders, but I'm not totally convinced on Obstinate Baloth. I think there's a lot of times, though, that it's going to be really good. Allows us to, like, double block a Reality Smasher or something. But, one second, guys. Let me check who's at the door. All right. It's just some kid. They're gonna ring the doorbell. I waved at him, so that probably means that they're gonna come back. But Yes, we would like to be on the play here. Alrighty, and we'll keep this one. I made eye contact with him and then he rang the doorbell again. That's pretty funny, but yeah, I mean, not answering. Don't know what you're selling, but I don't want it, please. I didn't recognize the person, but I'm curious if it's one of my friends. I feel like they would have texted me rather than just showing up. Alright, Expedition Map. I guess that's another card that we could blow up with like a Reclamation Sage or a Qasali Pride Mage. Of course, we don't have one here, and we won't be able to race it. And it is Eldrazi Tron, indeed, as well. They just didn't Tron us last game because they didn't need to. Well, now that they're Tron, I definitely don't like the fact that I boarded out all my Blood Moons. Oh, and they're going to have a turn 3 Tron. That is definitely a little bit awkward, but not too much I can do there. Yeah, they're going to have a turn 3 Karn if they want it, which is unfortunate, but hopefully they just play a bunch of dumb creatures and we also play a bunch of dumb creatures and then somehow we win. Think I'm just going to get a basic forest here. I kind of like having some more red mana access. I could just grab basic mountain. Yeah, I don't normally do that, but it actually seems fine here. It's not going to slow us down at all. It means we won't have double green if we crack our Horizon Canopy, but until then we will. I guess we can always use more green mana, so maybe that was wrong. Alright, so here is the turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer. That's still pretty good, but it's not going to be insane. It's probably just gonna... I mean, all of these cards are good, so it doesn't really matter what they take here either. We're just gonna hope to... The fact that this is the best thing that they can do with 7 mana is play 2 creatures means I'm not really super worried about what else is going on. So he took my evolution, I drew another evolution. Here I can evolution Kitchen Finks into Kikki, make a copy of Voice of Resurgence, and then continue to combo off like that. That seems pretty good. And I'll swing with the Voice of Resurgence token. Yeah, I think I like that. Just getting Kikki into play as soon as possible. And let's sacrifice Kitchen Finks. So let's go get ourselves a Kikki. I'm going to copy Voice of Resurgence, and I'm just going to do this right now so that I can attack for 2. And this will still give us a 4/4 at least back on defense. Or not at least. A 4/4 or something similar back on defense here. All right. And he took it. He could have blocked with Thought-Knot Seer, but it didn't really matter. I guess there was no reason to really attack. Because... yeah, maybe I should have just done it on his turn. That way I would have had blockers. But, it's all the same. kind of banking on my opponent not understanding that interaction, so we got in 2 points of damage for free. I'm assuming they just don't have Karn, or it would have come down, but we could see Kikki die to Karn here. There is a small chance that they just wanted to... No, it looks like a Dismember on Kikki. Well, that's fine. At least we got some value out of our evolution. And now we can Eternal Witness Kikki back. So all we need to do... Oh, never mind. Eternal Witness is going to hit the Exile Zone. No, Huntmaster of the Fells. They're going to give us back Kikki. That might have been a mistake there. Alright, and a Mind Stone as their follow-up play. Yeah, I don't think you want to give us back the opportunity to get a Kikki here. They've got an Expedition map as well, but that means they're pretty much out of cards. They got a bunch of mana over there. But then otherwise a whole bunch of nothing. So I can trade Voice of Resurgence with Matter Reshaper. Like I said, I think I just like taking the 3. At the very least, I don't want to throw away a real card in the attempts to get it here. And then I think I like just Eternal Witnessing back Kikki. At that point, I have to decide if I want to play Sacred Foundry tapped or if I want to keep this like a little bit of a surprise that I could play the Sacred Foundry untapped and then be able to run out the Kikki next turn. I'm super glad I didn't block with Voice now, because Voice is the card that I want a Kikki combo with. So I could swing with an Elemental token here. I think it's better on defense as well. Yeah. It's really close. I think I'm going to hold on to the Sacred Foundry. So if they play a Karn 2 and tick it up, I've got something to discard that isn't the Kikki. And then I just have to hope to hit another land here. Alright, they're cracking map, and that's free because they get to crack it, go get a tower, and it actually generates them a mana here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Gonna crack Mind Stone as well. Makes sense. Try to draw some cards. Alright, Grafdigger's Cage. We figured the Grafdigger's Cage might be coming. So I don't really want to take infinite hits from Matter Reshaper, but looks like my opponent has decided they no longer like attacking with it here either. So I can go get Stomping Grounds off Wooded Foothills. I think I like that slightly better. I do have to watch my life total. But still we're at a pretty healthy 13 here. And yeah, now I will just pass the turn. I'm going to start making Voice of Resurgence tokens on their end step. And I could actually maybe make them here as well. We'll figure out which one's better when we get there. Alright, this is a lot of mana. This is a Walking Ballista. We lose, and looks like it is. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Maybe I should have made another Voice in response. Because I think they should kill Voice of Resurgence in response. Yeah, I should have made another copy of Voice of Resurgence in response here. That was wrong. Alrighty. This one's going to be really, really tough to beat. Alex Magic 23, thank you very much for the follow, my friend. It's definitely still possible. But we need to get Linvala ASAP, and we don't have that many ways to do it. They can attack us with Matter Reshaper now. I think they should have attacked first, so that I would have made maybe a worse block. Like, if they attacked with Kitchen Finks, then I may have blocked like this, and then they could have pinged to finish some stuff off. Cunning Spark Mage would awkwardly be a pretty good draw here too, and Blood Moon would have been a good draw a turn ago. Let's crack this Horizon Canopy. Selfless Spirit also would have been a great draw a turn ago. Let's go ahead and play it, which will give us a few 4/4s. Oh, you know what? I still probably should have Blood Mooned there. Yeah, I think we just lose. I don't think that there's anything I can do against a pair of Walking Ballistas here. Or not a pair of, but just a huge Walking Ballista. A Walking Ballista for X equals 6. Yeah, it's a pretty tough one to beat. And here, yeah, we'll power it up. Looks like 3 times. If I had Blood Mooned, they only would have been able to power it up once. Can still maybe hang on to all of our creatures here. If we like Blood Moon to slow them down enough, and then worship or Linvala, we could, yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to Linvala into worship. And we probably have like 2 turns to do it. We need to play Linvala next turn, worship the following turn. Alright, so we'll sacrifice Selfless Spirit in response. And then in response to that, they're going to kill Eternal Witness. But I don't know why it's showing me my graveyard here, but thank you. I know what's in my graveyard. Thanks, Magic Online. Yeah, these were really close. I think with a few more reps under my belt, I should be able to do a little bit better here. I guess I did keep in some number of Blood Moons as well. Alright, so let's crack this, go and get a Forest, and then play Blood Moon. This will at least stop the rate in which my opponent can activate Walking Ballista, but they can theoretically clear my team next turn. Why my opponent did not attack, I also have no idea, but I guess they really don't want to give me extra cards with Thought-Knot Seers. Yeah, so that would allow them to trade in for these guys, and this is also lethal. So I guess I just straight up have to block. They should have swung with Walking Ballista, though, too, right? Yeah, it's not like I could have double blocked that for profit. Oh, yeah, I could have. I could double block and traded with it, but then they would have hit me for... they could have just thrown it at my face. Slight miscalculation there, then. Alright, let's just block here. And I'm not dead if I just block like this. But at the same time, what can I do with a 1/1? Need to find a way to draw Linvala and worship all in one turn here. And another Plains. Not looking good. Now we can win if for whatever reason they decide to fuck with us and not attack. I go end step Restoration Angel. We need them to ping us but not attack us. I end step Resto, untap, grab a Kikki, and win. Seems pretty unlikely though, right? That'll be it. And you know what? All in all, that's pretty good timing as the Alexander Hamilton soundtrack draws to an end. So does our stream here. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you have not already, feel free to hit that follow button. Also, I recommend going to the panels in the info below and clicking that YouTube button and following that as well, because we are going to have some sweet new content for you guys tonight. If you enjoyed this deck, or if you enjoyed Ixidor's Dream stream, if you came from there, we are going to be uploading a second in our Epic versus Showdown Time series. He always says that I never care about what the hell the name is, but we're going to be uploading the second in that series tonight. and that is going to be Black-White Smallpox, his specialty, versus this deck right here. So you'll be able to see us do a best of 5 sideboarding games, hear our thoughts on both sides of the match, and also just hear us trash talk each other and that kind of cool stuff. So hope you enjoyed. I also, on the YouTube channel, I should mention, have all of my past stream VODs, as well as highlights, tips and tricks, deck techs, as well as me playing other games. So feel free to hit that follow button in either of those places, but more than anything, thank you guys very much for watching. And if you are watching on YouTube, feel free to catch me live on twitch.tv/NoLucksGiven. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.